Hello, boys and girls. This is Mr. So. Welcome back for another lesson of biology. Today we are going through lesson 34 of chapter 15, classwork 15.1. Before you start watching the video, remember to like and subscribe my channel and also share the video to your classmates. Let's start. Let's write down the name of different eye structure in the following diagram, starting with the outermost layer. On the outermost layer, you have a very white and tough layer that is called the sclera. In the front of the eyeball, you have a layer called the cornea, 角膜. On top of the cornea, you have a layer called the conjunctiva, 結膜. It's very thin, and both of them, they are transparent. Let's move on to the middle layer. The middle layer of the eye is called the choroid. It is a black pigmented layer which has a lot of blood vessels to supply oxygen and nutrient to the eyeball, as well as the photoreceptors. In the middle layer, there is also the iris and the pupil. Iris helps to control the size of the pupil. In the innermost layer, you have the retina, 視網膜. At the back, at the center of the retina, you have the yellow spot, which is concentrated with cone cells. There is also a blind spot at the exit of the optic nerve. The blind spot contains no photoreceptors. The parts at the front of the eyeball helps to regulate and focus the light onto the retina. The structure is called the ciliary body. And on the ciliary body, there are some suspensory ligaments, which helps to connect the ciliary body and the lens. At the end, inside your eyeball, there are some liquids which helps to support the shape of the eyeball. They are also transparent. At the back of the eyeball, you have the vitreous humor in the posterior chamber, the back of the eyeball. At the front of the eyeball, the anterior chamber, there is the aqueous humor, which is also transparent and helps support. Aqueous humor also provide oxygen and nutrient to the lens, to the cornea and conjunctiva by diffusion. Let's take a look at question C. Which parts of the eye refract the light into the eye? It should be all the parts which are transparent. There are 5 of them, starting with the outermost, conjunctiva, cornea, aqueous humor, lens, and vitreous humor. Question D. Which parts of the eye are involved in focusing light onto the retina? The parts that helps focusing light should be in a group of 3. The 3 of them work in a group to focus light. They are the ciliary body, suspensory ligaments, and lens. Question E. Which parts of the eye are important in maintaining the shape of the eyeball? It should be the white tough layer and also the liquid inside the eye. They are the sclera, aqueous humor, and vitreous humor. Question F. What is the function of iris? The iris helps to control the size of the pupil and to control the amount of light entering the eye. Question G. What is the importance 重要性 of having black pigment in the choroid? That is to absorb light and reduce internal reflection of light inside the eye. Question H. State and explain one difference between yellow spot and blind spot in terms of the perception of vision. Let's take a look at the yellow spot first. Yellow spot, it is concentrated with cone cells for very clear color vision. What about blind spot? In the blind spot, there is no photoreceptors, so since the blind spot contains no photoreceptors, the image on the blind spot cannot be detected. That is the difference. Question I. Suggest how the light-sensitive cells on the retina, that means the photoreceptors, and the cells in the lens differ in obtaining nutrient and oxygen. So photoreceptors, where do they get the oxygen and nutrient? They get it from the blood supply in core rod. But for the lens, they are colorless, so they don't have blood supply. Instead, they get the nutrients and oxygen from aqueous humor by diffusion.